Hi, my name is Craig Smith. I'm the pastor at Wagner Hills Recovery Center, where I got to know Lukas. And I would like to welcome you on behalf of Martin, Sherry, and Verena to this celebration of life for Lukas. And I just want to encourage you to permit yourself to feel the depth of your feelings. I encourage you to come as you are, with all your joy and sadness and grief, as you remember this beautiful young man. And we're going to begin with 3 eulogies, which just means blessings, with 3 people that knew him the best. And we're going to start with Verena, and then Martin and Sherry.
Hi everyone, my name is Verena. I'm Lucas's older sister. Thank you so much for being here with us today to remember him. I'm sure all of you here knew Lukas at different points of his life and in different ways. Some of you may remember him as a super cute and very loud child who was obsessed with monster trucks. Others here may have known him as a wildly energetic kid who was obsessed with sharks, Jaws movies, rock climbing, and jumping off of literally anything that he could climb. And some of you here may have known him in his teenage years. When he was quieter, he was strong and serious, and he was really into working out, basketball, and scary movies. No matter when you knew him best, I think that there are a few things that we can all agree on about Lukas. And those things are that he was brave, he was strong-willed, he was unapologetically authentic, and though he didn't always show it, he was deeply kind-hearted. Thanks to our adventurous and outdoorsy parents, both Lukas and I grew up with a love for nature. From when he was a little kid up until he was an adult, whenever he would go on hikes, he'd turn the forest into his own personal jungle gym. He'd be climbing trees, he'd be leaping from logs and rocks, and he would make it into an adventure that was already bigger than it already was. He was also quite a daredevil. He loved a good thrill. So think bungee jumping, rock climbing, diving off of high places. He always did it with a grin and saying, "Watch this." Skydiving was next on his list of thrilling activities. I remember when we would have lake days as a family and we would go boating, he'd hang his head out of the side of the boat and he would stretch his arm out and his hands so that he could feel the wind and the water on his skin. It was always all or nothing with Lukas. He lived fully, he left an impression everywhere he went, and he was the kind of person that you could never forget. What many people didn't see about Lukas was how sensitive and compassionate he was. He was loyal, protective, and he absolutely hated gossip. He kept other people's secrets fiercely, though he was never quite as good at keeping his own. Somehow, he always ended up telling us about the wild, dangerous things that he got up to. And this is the Lukas that I'll carry with me, my brave, energetic, loyal little brother with the kindest heart. I'm going to miss him every day. Thank you.
My name's Martin. I'm Lukas's father. I want to thank you from all my family for being here today. The greatest gift you can give us is the gift of your time. And you chose to come here and stand with us and support us, and as we mourn the devastating loss of our son, Lukas. Today, I want to share some memories that capture the force of nature that was Lukas. a person who lived for intensity and craved the exhilarating. One of his earliest obsessions was the bicycle. At just 3 years old, as soon as his training wheels came off, he wasn't just riding, he was a hurricane on two wheels. He'd attack the pavement with reckless intensity, pushing every limit for the sheer thrill of it. You can imagine the state of his bikes, a constant battlefield of bent handlebars and countless shredded tires. As he grew, his hunger for a challenge escalated. He wanted to conquer mountains, not just ride them. So on the weekends, we'd head to the North Shore Mountains to find the most treacherous, root-choked trails we could find, the ones that were far beyond his skill level. We spent half our time sliding uncontrollably down rock faces, but Lukas lived for it. The more terrifying the trail, the more alive he felt. As a boy, his favorite book was the Guinness Book of World Records. He wasn't just reading it, he was studying it. He was absorbing it. Every detail about the fastest, the strongest, and the biggest. He wanted to live a life worthy of a record, a life of endless excitement. He'd relentlessly hone his body, always challenging me to fierce competitions. Who could do the most push-ups, the most pull-ups, who could skip rope the longest without stopping? The challenges were fierce, and they never ended. Lukas was always in pursuit of the next rush, a thought about something exhilarating and dangerous, something that would send a jolt of adrenaline through his veins. He'd often muse about how high someone could survive a fall from a balcony, a bridge, or a cliff. These were the kinds of cosmic questions that filled his mind. I shared his love for heart-pounding activities, so our family vacations often included intense experiences, riding bikes through pitch-black railway tunnels, gut-wrenching roller coaster rides, carving through fresh powder on a snowboard, plummeting towards earth on a bungee jump, and tearing across waves on a jet ski. As a family, we found our peace in a shared passion, hiking. Toward the end of his life, our weekends were spent scaling mountain trails that always ended with a breathtaking, majestic view. It's devastating that Lukas's adventures had come to an end, his spirit, a force of nature that never settled for ordinary, is one that I'll carry with me in every challenge and every climb. Thank you.
Mom, there is a fly in the kitchen. Lukas would often tell me as a child. Can you please catch it and take it outside? Lukas was adamant every time he saw a fly, a spider, or any other bug in the house that I should somehow catch it alive and release it outside. He would follow me to the backyard to ensure I did just that. This was my little Lukas, sensitive and kind. Dinosaurs, erupting volcanoes, planets, sharks, you name it. Lukas loved learning about all these things. He was an avid collector of books like Ripley's Believe It or Not, and he spent hours talking to me about what he learned from these books. He was fascinated with the extraordinary and absurd. This was the Lukas I knew so well, passionate and inquisitive. In a way, Lukas was an extraordinary child. Very early on during his childhood years, we became aware of his ability to zero in and focus on an activity he really enjoyed. Not only was he hyper-focused, he went overboard on many of these activities he loved, like digging a massive hole in the backyard that took days, weeks, just to see where it would take him. By age 9, he was fascinated with weights and bodybuilding. This was the boy I knew so well, active and adventurous. Coupled with his tendency to go overboard was Lucas's lack of impulse control. This was a very worrying combination and a source of stress in our family. Little did we know at the time that this combination would prove to be so detrimental to him as a teenager and as a young man approaching his 20s. Lucas grew up in an environment where he felt safe in expressing his need for exploring, adventuring, and pushing boundaries. He adored his older sister, Verena, and followed her everywhere with his beloved stuffed toy, Bunny. He loved his Oma, who pampered him and nurtured him. He never missed an opportunity to challenge his Opa, who willingly obliged, to a round of push-ups. And he always had a big smile and hug for his Aunt Bev, who visited often with the most interesting treats and candies. His cousins and his childhood friends loved and accepted him just the way he was. They knew. They knew him from birth. They knew, this is Lucas. That's just the way he is. They loved him. Even when he did his best to get under their skin. And he did get under their skin, every chance he could. Even now, I can see the mischievous gleam in his eyes and the impish grin when he got the reaction he wanted from his friends, Mackenzie and Kieran, and his cousins, Jax, Jonathan, Neal, Jan, and Arnav. He felt especially close to Jax, the cousin he annoyed the most. His cousin's daughter, Dia, held a special place in his heart because she was such an attentive pupil when he taught her how to box. Every summer, he looked forward to spending time with his cousins, aunts, and uncles from Thailand, who visited almost every year. He knew he was going to be the center of attention and that they were going to indulge just about every one of his whims, jumping on the trampoline, playing basketball, shot put. I could go on. Lucas was a free spirit. His cousins and his friends knew that, and he was a boy with a tremendous lust for life. Elementary school, however, was not as accepting of a child like Lucas. He was teased, bullied, and physically harmed for just being himself. His grade 3 teacher, who brought out the best in him and whom he loved, recently shared with me that the kids saw him as an oddity, a boy who just had to outrun and do more push-ups than anyone in his class. By the time Lucas entered grade 8, he was an unsmiling, angry teenager who never wanted to talk about his feelings. He seemed particularly uninterested in school and learning, and he had a generally bad attitude toward everything and everyone. He wanted to be perceived as a tough guy, a persona he worked hard at perfecting, because nobody was going to hurt him. Many times, I told myself he was behaving like a typical teenager, even as I could see that he was turning into somebody I barely recognized. Sometimes I felt like I was looking at a stranger. At 15, he became interested in experimenting with drugs, setting in motion the chain of events that would ultimately lead to his death. Drugs had become a serious part of Lucas's life as he turned 17. At the time he got his N, He was involved in risky and reckless behavior, which led to driving under the influence and run-ins with law enforcement. We felt he was in self-destruct mode, and that caused a great deal of stress in our family. He moved out. He left home once he completed high school because he was determined to do life his way. Last summer, I spent a lot of time talking to recovering addicts and people who worked at mental health and substance abuse. I learned that in order to understand Lukas, I had to first understand his relationship with these drugs, and second, what these feelings were that he was trying so hard not to feel. At this point, my conversations with him changed, and I tried to ask the right questions to get some answers. He was like a closed book. I could not reach him. In March of this year, Lukas nearly overdosed and temporarily lost feeling in his left arm. This episode affected him deeply. It made quite an impact, and he made the decision to finally seek help. And he said he wanted to go to rehab. This is what we had been waiting for. With help from his sister, he applied to a recovery center called Wagner Hills, located in Langley. While waiting to be accepted, Lukas moved back home and lived with us for 2.5 months. During this time, Lukas and I walked and talked a lot. He opened up for the first time since he was 10 years old and talked to me about his feelings, about all the bullying he experienced in elementary and high school. On more than one occasion, he had been called stupid, weak, and ugly. And he took it all to heart, believed everything they said about him. This was a cause for a lot of anxiety in his life and some depression. And he told me that drugs made him feel less anxious, more numb, and that he didn't have to feel pain. He told me he felt like he never really fit in anywhere, that he tried really hard to fit in because he really wanted to be liked. As he recounted and relived these experiences, my heart broke many times for the little boy who was no longer there, and the young man who was carrying so much pain inside him. I could see the progress he was making at Wagner Hills. He was becoming more introspective. He even talked to me about a boy he felt he had wronged and mistreated when he was 16, and he said he was going to make amends. Sadly, he chose to leave Wagner Hills just 2.5 months after he entered, and will not be making those amends. During one of our last conversations, sitting on the patio at Wagner Hills, I reminded him of who he was as a boy, passionate and full of life. And I encouraged him to reconnect with that boy, to which he replied, "I'm trying to do that, Mom."
I got to know Lukas, as I said, as the pastor of Wagner Hills Center, Recovery Center, where he was a resident for a few months, and I instantly liked this kid. He had a big smile and even bigger, bright eyes. He was so earnest as I watched him. The guy ran everywhere. It was like watching a pinball machine. And I said, "Why are you running?" Lukas, he says, "I don't want to be late." He was never late. He was always on time, and he wanted to be respectful of other people and their time. The staff loved having Lukas around, and Joseph, who was here from Wagner, can attest to that, because when he was in the main building, everything looked cleaner, and he was always on the job making it tidy. But in the all too short time that I got to know Lukas, I got to know him and his passion and intensity, and I love that about him. In this brief talk, I wanted to choose a few passages from the Gospel of John to reflect on. But you know what? Lukas made my talk really easy to create, because these were the passages that he wrote notes about in his Bible. And I will be including his insights as I speak on these texts. In effect, Lukas gave me my sermon. I wish he could have preached it. And what pastor is not grateful for that? Someone provides you a sermon. So I met with Lukas a few times at Wagner Hills. At first, I initiated the meetings, and then he asked to meet me. And when he came, he always came with questions about the Bible and the Christian faith. And this young fellow was prepared. He found every verse and every word that he wanted me to comment on. He asked insightful questions. I loved it. He came with sound reasoning. And as a former New Testament professor for 35 years, these meetings and his passion and his questions absolutely, unequivocally warmed my heart. So the first passage I want to look at is actually from the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verses 37 to 39, and it says this. He says, "On the last and the greatest day of the Feast of Tabernacles, Jesus stood and said in a loud voice, 'Let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. And whoever believes in me, as Scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them.' And by this he meant the Spirit whom those who believed in him were later to receive." Now, concerning this passage, Lukas astutely wrote these words, and I quote, he says, "God's kingdom brings water to those who are thirsty, and food to those who are hungry, and knowledge and wisdom to those who are willing to learn." He concluded in that note with these words, "Trust in God, and the living water will flow through us. For living water means the Spirit of God will come to you, and the Spirit of God will come through you." I had a lot of students I taught in seminary that couldn't have said that. That was good theology. I was impressed. You see, the metaphor of water is used at least two ways in the Bible. The first is that water is associated with Jesus cleansing and sustaining us in life, in both the good and in the hard times. And the second association with water comes with healing our hurts, our disappointments, our regrets, our failures, all promising that Jesus and his presence would be with us for eternity. And I believe Lukas understood this. He understood Jesus' teaching because he wrote, "Emmanuel means God is with us, and we will dwell with God forever." The second passage I chose was from John chapter 1, verses 4 and 5, and chapter 8, verse 12. That says this, "In Jesus Christ was life, and that life was the light for all humankind. The light shines in the darkness, yet the darkness could not overcome it. Later, Jesus stood up at the Feast of Tabernacles and said, I am the light of the world, and whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Now, I've always been amazed how one small light can dispel complete darkness. Years ago, I should have been with Lukas. Now I heard all these stories about him jumping off cliffs. We would have made a good pair. I went caving with some friends of mine, and I'm not sure I should have trusted them, but I did. And we went deep into this mountain, I mean deep into this mountain in Alberta. And my friends turned off all the lights inside the cave. Pitch black. You couldn't see anything. And then they lit a candle and placed it on a birthday cake for me, which they had secretly carried through this cave. Immediately, all the darkness was gone, and I saw the faces of my friends singing happy birthday to me. Now, we only have to watch the news to see the darkness which surrounds us, or just go to the downtown east side. Yet in this context, Jesus makes the audacious statement that he is the source of life, he's the source of light to help all humankind see with discerning eyes and to live well in this dark world. I believe Lukas comprehended this when he wrote these words. Follow God with your senses, that is your sense of right and wrong. Follow God with your spirit, and then your heart and mind will follow. The young man was a theologian. With our senses, we see light and know the difference between right and wrong. The light can direct our spirit. And Lukas was right when he said, when we follow the light of God, our hearts and minds will naturally follow. When I was praying and reflecting on Lukas's death, this story came to my mind that had come to me through a friend of mine who was a pastor. This woman had an 8-year-old son who had a brain tumor. The young boy had endured several operations, but continued to suffer and just got progressively worse. After yet one more unsuccessful operation, the little boy was lying in his hospital bed with his mom. He was half unconscious and he was mumbling some words, and his mother asked, "What is it?" And the little boy said, "Mom, I see a light." His mother, who had done everything to help save her little boy and had done everything to find healing for him, said to him, "I want you to close your eyes and I want you to run to that light." And he did. Within a few minutes, he passed away. This image came to my mind when I thought about Lukas, because I had a picture of him running to the light where he is safe and whole. Let us pray. God, you are the God of life, life everlasting. You are the God of light that brings us into the trueness and the reality of what you are, which is all goodness. Thank you for being with Lukas, and thank you for being with us today. In Jesus' name, amen. At this point, we are going to have a photo slideshow tribute. The Schwuchow family has put together a brief slideshow as a way to pay tribute to their son and brother.
Dear Lukas, there was always a funny little fact that you were my uncle, even though we were born in the same year. Most people assumed we were cousins, and honestly, it felt that way. But to me, Dia and Malik, you were known as Muscle Uncle. You were so brave and strong, hence the name. And I remember your love for boxing, especially in Phuket. I'll always cherish the memories we had together as a family in Thailand, spending the day on the boat, shopping in the malls, going go-karting, racing around the island on jet skis, and you were always the fastest. Those days were full of laughter and joy, and I'm so grateful we'll have those memories forever. One of the most special memories for me was in Bangkok when all the cousins went to a rooftop. We talked, we laughed, and we really opened up to each other. That night brought us all closer, and it's a moment I'll always look back on with a smile. You'll be missed by all of us, and I'll always hold close the fun times we had together. Being the same age made our bond unique. You'll always be my strong, one-of-a-kind muscle uncle. Rest in peace, Lucas. Love, Amaya.
I don't remember much of our memories when I came to Canada or when I was younger, but I do remember when you guys came to Thailand in December 2021. You were a lot older than me, and I didn't think we would get along very well, but to my surprise, we did, and we had an amazing time. I remember you loved boxing. You didn't talk to us that much, but you opened up to me. You taught me a few simple punches. You told me about your life. I told you about mine. And then you said, now that you know how to defend yourself, nothing can hurt you. And I will remember that for the rest of my life. And I'm sad that we didn't get to spend that much time together, but I'm forever grateful for the time we did spend together, and I'll miss you a lot. Rest in peace.
Lucas, I remember you since the month you were born. We share a birthday, and even though we never celebrated together, I will always remember fondly messaging you, wishing each other. And next year is going to be a real absence that you're not here, but I'll always remember and cherish our shared day. I would like to believe that somewhere Bunny is right there with you again, offering you comfort and reminding you and us of the tenderness you always carried. Perhaps your time here was meant to be brief, but you made it meaningful. You gave us joy, you gave us love, and you will be missed in ways that words can't capture. Didi will miss you always.
So we will always remember our Lucas with so much love. Our fondest memory is from our trip to Whistler in 2014. When he was only 9, he followed Amaya, Dia, and Fawn everywhere, like a little bodyguard that he was. And they had best time sharing candies and French fries together. And even though Mali might have been too young to remember, we'll never forget the day we went Christmas shopping in Bangkok when he couldn't believe that Mali was buying him a shoe for his Christmas gift, and Mali was so happy that he picked a gift from her. Such small moment, but one that meant so much to all of us. That's how we'll always carry him in our hearts, strong, caring, and full of love. With love from Babit and Pifon.
Hi, my name is Winda. I'm married to Cherry's sister Dilip. I'm honored that Martin has asked me to say a few words in celebrating Lucas's life. Seeing Lucas as a little boy on numerous occasions during his visits to Bangkok and our visits to Canada and various holidays in the US and Thailand, Lucas is indeed a special boy full of energy and life. I got connected with him 2 years ago as of 19 years old when we would talk on the phone. Dilip and I visited the family last year, and I can still remember the beautiful smile on his face when we arrived at Cherry and Martin and their family's home. We spent 5 nights and had several occasions to discuss with Lucas about life in general. And we all went for walks on the beach and overall spent quality times eating together and talking, simple things in life. And there's a lot of one-on-one talk about things in general between me and Lucas. Coming back to Bangkok and over the past 1 year, we still kept in touch, and it's so to the very last moment. It is no doubt devastating and sad to say I lost not only a nephew but a friend. There is a wise man that always said, we are just traveling through this world and walking each other home. I guess some walk faster than the others, and Lukas walked was definitely too fast. However, memories and his presence will always remain. Rest well, Lukas, and may God bless you and may you be free. Thank you.
A lot of my best memories growing up took place in Surrey. Lukas is and always will be a core part of that. I remember Lukas as being brave, energetic, and ambitious. He was always eager to try new things and always in a rush to prove himself. I think that his bravery and adventurousness rubbed off on me as well, and I would like to thank him very much for that. I hope that Lukas can continue to have an impact on me, even in his absence. In my capacity as a teacher, I will strive to guide young people to fulfill their potential. I hope I can do this in honor of Lukas. Lukas, wherever you are, know that we all love you, and we are all very grateful to have had you in our lives. From Gyan.
Being Lukas's cousin, living halfway around the world, with the time difference, I'm of too much. I feel like I wish I got more time to spend in Canada and get to know him. But on the other hand, I also do feel very grateful for the times that we did have. And the last time I was back in Bangkok, Lukas, Farina, Cherry Masi, Uncle Martin, everyone was there. It was just like normal. Lukas is jumping around, just so vibrant, like this vibrant dude, this vibrant little dude. That's all I've been thinking about this week. Like this vibrant young dude just jumping everywhere. We were on a Ferris wheel once on that Bangkok trip, and he couldn't sit still. And I was just like, I love this. He's so present and up to something, always up to something, something fun. When we did this road trip in 2015, I can't imagine it without him there, because then it would have been so quiet and boring, because it would just be three teenagers in Cherry Masi, and the three teenagers are just looking at their phones the whole time. And here you have Lukas, who just is pushing us to like climb up further up the mountain, take the hard way, do this, and just I loved how outdoorsy he was and how physical. He just wanted to go and explore nature and do these things. And I, just being a city kid who's kind of quiet, reserved, I always felt very grateful, always, to be around that, even if I didn't engage with it the same way. Just so vibrant. And I'm so grateful that I got to see that and know him. And even on the last trip to Bangkok, getting to know what kind of music he was into. And I'll be able to take have these memories for myself that I feel very grateful for, And the one thing too is that I know so much about sharks because of Lukas, because he was obsessed with Jaws and obsessed with the different sizes of sharks. And one trip to Canada, he would always tell me the Megalodon is this one and everything. And since then, anytime a shark movie comes out in theaters, it's the first person that comes to my mind, And so I'm looking forward now to many years of just looking at shark posters and saying, yeah, this vibrant young dude, my cousin,
birds fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you dare to, oh why can't well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue, and I see clouds of white, and the brightness of day. I like the dark, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back your There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain, when I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name, 'cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day. Hey. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Hey, hey. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back your memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, and I felt all of the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feel like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you, and you know I'll never drop. Yeah. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Yeah, yeah. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Oh, cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back your. Memories bring back your. Memories bring back your. Memories bring back your.
I think you all can see us and tell that we are Cherry's siblings. The resemblance is there. Our kids and families have spoken and have said it all, what we feel about Lukas. We will be leaving with very heavy hearts, but we will find solace in knowing that Cherry has a beautiful family here in BC. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your love and your support. And Lukas, wherever you are, we love you very much, and you will be truly missed. So thank you again to all of you.
At this point, the family's asked if any others would like to say something. I'm just going to give you some time right now, some story that you want to share, and just please come forward. You don't have to, I can't even, if you're raising your hand, I can't see it because of the lights here, And plus, I gotta have to put my other glasses on, so there you go. So, come up then. All right. I'm going to give the benediction that I said over my kids every night. And I'm going to leave you with this. Let's pray. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you and give you his peace. Amen. The family cordially welcomes you to remain for some light refreshments after the service, and they'll be served just outside the doors there. So thank you so much for coming and supporting this family together today.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep through my veins. Let me be empty. Oh, weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear.